The Pentagon is finally looking into the claims that UFO UAP whistleblower Jake Barber has made. And this is something that we didn't know why it wasn't happening sooner. But it looks like Arrow is indeed going to be looking into those claims. Tim Burchett had said at one point he thought that Barber was a plant. When Luna was asked last week about Barber, she said she hasn't really looked into it or said anything about it, at least to anyone maybe waiting to see what's going on with Arrow itself. Well, now it looks like Arrow is looking into it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do we trust Arrow now that Sean Kirkpatrick is gone? But this is the news piece from News Nation when Ross Coulthart was asked about it. I'm going to play this little clip, and then we'll talk about the clip itself, and then we'll talk about the idea of Barber finally being looked into and what does it mean. So here's that clip from News Nation and Ross Coulthart. Here it is.
The major question, do you think the Pentagon confirming it's investigating the allegations of Jake Barber is a major step forward here?
It's an incremental step forward. I think it's important because we do know that the new director of ARROW, the Pentagon's UAP investigation office, a chap called Dr. John Kozlowski, were assured he's very serious about investigating the phenomenon. And he admitted to the Congress under oath late last year that he was indeed now talking to first-hand whistleblowers. So to get this confirmation now from the Pentagon that they are now indeed investigating is positive. But as Dr. John Kozlowski has said to several people, his powers are very limited. The Pentagon dictates what he's allowed to reveal and what he's allowed to say publicly. And there isn't a very proud history, I'm afraid, of the Pentagon wanting to be very forthcoming about what we do believe is a covert UAP retrieval and reverse engineering program. So really, I think a lot depends on the degree of transparency and openness that's permitted by the Pentagon, and a lot of that hangs on the new administration. It really does rest with the president and also to some degree with the Congress whether or not we're going to get any movement on any further disclosure about this alleged covert program.
It's very interesting. I know you say there is very clear intent from senior echelons within the Pentagon leadership to continue to suppress this story. Tell me more about that.
Look, there's been for decades, I believe, a covert program where the United States, I do believe, has hid its recovery, its retrieval of non-human technology. I know a lot of people will roll their eyes and scoff at such a notion, but the evidence is now getting pretty overwhelming that this is real. There have been noises from very senior people in this new administration, including the new DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, the head of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, and also the head of the FBI, Nash Patel. These people have all indicated their willingness to investigate the UAP issue. What's interesting, though, is that the Pentagon recently came back with an answer to the White House on the drone incursions that you and I have spent a lot of time talking about, and they tried to explain them away as FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, authorized drones, that this was somehow some kind of authorized drone program. That's completely in contradiction to what the FAA said under oath to the Congress in December. So we're getting mixed messages from this new administration. And I'm not confident that we're going to see any degree of transparency. A lot rests, for example, on whether Anna Paulina Luna, the congresswoman who's launched this new transparency committee, is going to be allowed to ask the tough questions in a public hearing, and whether the new president, President Trump, is indeed serious with his promise to get to the bottom of the UAP mystery. So far, I'm a little bit skeptical, but we'll wait and see.
You know, what he says at the end there is pretty telling, and I think that it's funny that everyone was hoping that once we had a new administration that this would be the disclosure administration. And I said I like the confidence in it, but it also is one of those things, as we've used that analogy of, you know, before I get to become student president, I'm just letting everybody know that we're going to get pizza every day for as long as I'm here. And then the person gets in office, I think, I can't get you pizza. I like to, but I can't. There's too many people that don't want you to have pizza. And that's essentially what has happened with a lot of different people. And but I agree with him, where I think the most telling part of it was the drone stuff, where it's like, yeah, we have an answer. We told you we're going to give you an answer, and it's FAA approved. And FAA is like, what? Well, we told them it wasn't. We don't know what the hell it is. It is? Oh, I guess it is. And then they said, no, it's not. So, and there's really been no follow-up answer to that at all. And everybody's just like, okay, no problem. No one pays attention to it. Like, if you saw it on the news and you don't follow this topic or anything else too, you, oh, yeah, I heard they said it was FAA approved, and I just went about my day. You don't hear the follow-up stuff to it. And then the other side of it is, look, this is a good thing that this guy who has been now running the FAA is talking to him. Now, the question is, do the whistleblowers feel comfortable? It seems like they do, speaking with him more so than they did Kirkpatrick. But the more telling part of, again, is that it has to come from the Pentagon. It has got to come from the administration to say, yeah, this is the stuff we found out. This is the stuff we want out there. Let's push forward here. And it's good that, Jake Barber is going to be they're going to investigate his claims. And the question will be, at what point do we get any answers of, hey, look, the stuff that this guy was talking about, that footage that we got, that's legit. That's real. That's actual. That's instead of like people guessing. And then where does the task force come into play with this stuff? Is the task force involved at all in the Jake Barber claims? Because, they're handling JFK, they're handling RFK, they're handling Martin Luther King, they're handling UFOs. So if they're handling UFOs and this is information and this is stuff, wouldn't you make this phone call first and say, look, this guy is the guy that's been out there the most talking about these particular things. Let's investigate those claims first. Because of those claims, if we're talking about what we're going to be able to do as this task force, then let's investigate this. And maybe this is the evidence that we're looking for, because that's what Luna said. She said it's all about evidence. We got to have evidence. Find the evidence. Start with this guy if he says he's got it. And there's a lot of things that Ross says that he said before, that it is obviously the importance of it and how it's been taken seriously, and there's more evidence to show that this is real. And that's stuff that we've heard, and it does seem like it's been heating up a little bit more here and there, but it does come, as far as information that's going to come from the government, it's got to come from the top, and it's got to be, they can investigate all day long. They're taking this seriously. What'd they find out? Oh, they're not going to tell you. So until we get something really big with big evidence, I don't think you're really going to move the needle anywhere. And it's good, though, that I think the next time Matt Laszlo asks Luna about Jake Barber, she's like, yeah, they're looking into it. We've spoken to them. These are the things that we're going to be looking into next on the task force. So that's what I hope happens next. And I still thank God that Laszlo is there asking the questions every time. How there haven't been other reporters that are picking up on this now, because this is again broken record me. This is something where if the Pentagon is indeed investigating a UFO whistleblower's claims about the things that he said, which are more firsthand witness stuff, it should be a story everywhere. Should be a story everywhere, not just News Nation. Should be a story everywhere that, okay, the Pentagon is officially looking, Arrow is officially looking into the claims made, and here are the claims. We will give you further updates once we find out what they have found. Put pressure on them as news organizations that this is the story. I'm not telling you to say, oh, we believe everything the guy's saying. It's like, no, this is what the guy's claims are. As a news organization, do essentially what News Nation just did here and have a reporter on talking about it and saying, hey, listen, there are some big claims by this guy. What do we know about him? Well, we know this, and this, and this. Are they looking into it? Yeah. Because if it turns out if he's full of it, it's going to hurt the movement 100%. But they should absolutely be looking into it, and they should be talking about it everywhere. But the positives, if you're going glass half full, that they're looking into the claims and that it seems that whistleblowers feel confident enough to speak to the new Arrowhead. But what do you make of this? What do you think? Everything that has been said thus far in the interview there with Ross Coulthart, the idea that the administration might be doing what every administration did beforehand and saying, yeah, we're going to tell you, we're going to be as upfront as we can. And then we can't be upfront because we can't do this. We're not allowed to do this. It's that whole thing we talked about many times over. If it's too much of a risk overall, and not enough benefit for them monetarily or for power, you ain't going to do it. If it's too much of a risk, if there's other things that they want to put forward first before even worrying about this, it's going to always fall on the back burner, and they're just going to address it, and that's it. Put your comments in there. Let me know exactly what you think. I want to know your opinion. So please go and put your thoughts in there. I'd like to hear from you. Like I always say, if you want to join the memberships, you can do that. Please do it. Sign up today. If not, you wanted to support the channel, you should definitely if you don't have a VPN, you should have a VPN. I'm going to tell you about ExpressVPN, and then I'll see you back here really soon. Bye. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like taking a call on a train or bus on speaker for everyone to hear. You really want the whole train to know about your medical test results? Because all your traffic flows through their servers, internet service providers, including mobile network providers. They know every single website that you visit. And in the US, ISPs are legally allowed to sell that information to advertisers. ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure encrypted servers so your ISP can't see your browsing history. This is why I love ExpressVPN. It hides your IP address. It makes it extremely difficult for third parties to track your online activity. It's very easy to use. You fire up the app, you click one button, you get it protected. It works on all devices, whether it's a phone, a laptop, tablet, and more, so you can stay private on the go. It is rated #1 by top tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. Whether I'm traveling on train or whatever it is, I just like using it because I know I'm protected. So I've been using ExpressVPN. I'm glad that I have it. So if you want to do the same thing and protect your online privacy today, you got to visit expressvpn.com/DTE. That is expressvpn.com/DTE to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months free. expressvpn.com/DTE.